Welcome to the solutions video for the 5.03 series of assignments. So these are the ones that are based on 8cc2 on IXL, the probability of opposite, mutually exclusive, and overlapping events. So in our first problem here, you spin the spinner once. What is the probability of having 5 or less than 5? 2 of the 3 segments fit that description, so it's 2 out of 3. Now you roll a 6-sided die. What's the probability that it's 1 or odd? Well, 1 is an odd number, so it's just the 3 out of the 6 that are odd, which is 50%. What's the probability that the card is not greater than 4? That's equal or less than 4, which is 50%. What's the probability that the coin flip is heads or tails? That's just 1. We don't generally worry about coins that land on their sides. I'll start worrying about that when I see it happen. So we roll a 6-sided die. What's the probability that it's not less than 4? That means it is 4, 5, or 6, which means 3 out of 6 or 1 out of 2. And what is the probability that it's 5 or odd? Well, 5 is odd, so that's redundant. That's 2 out of 4 or 1/2. So here, what is the probability that the number is not greater than 4? If it's not greater than 4, it's less than or equal to 4. There's only one of the 4 segments that does that, so 25%. Probability that it's not tails means it's heads. That's 1 out of 2. Probability that the number is even or greater than 6 is 100%. The even means 6 and 8. Greater than 6 includes 7. That's every possibility. The probability here that it's even or greater than 2, again, is every possibility. 3 and 4 are greater than 2. 2 is even. What's the probability that it's 5 or greater than 5? That means it's either 5 or 6, which is a probability of 1 out of 3. What's the probability that it is 8 or less than 8? Again, that is a certainty. Everything is either 8 or less than 8. What's the probability that it's 1 or less than 2? Well, that's just 1 out of 4, because 1 is the only option. Probability that it's 3 or even, again, is 100%, because 3 is the only odd number available. Probability that it's not odd is the probability that it's even. That's 3 out of 6 or 1/2. Probability that the number is either odd or even. That's 100%. Probability that it's not odd is the probability that it is even. That's 3 of these 6 cards, or 1/2. And the probability that it's odd or less than 7, it's either 7 or 6. That's a 2 out of 3 chance. Probability that it is not greater than 5 means it's less than or equal to 5. There's only one of the 3 numbers that satisfies that. And now we are in our challenge zone. Probability that is heads or tails, that's a certainty. Probability is 1. Probability that it is 2 or less than 3, well, 1 and 2 are both less than 3, so it's 2 out of 6 or 1/3. What's the probability that you have a 3 or 4? That's 2 of the 6 outcomes, which is 1/3 or 33.3% to the nearest tenth. What's the probability that it is not greater than 2? That means you get exactly 2, which is 1 of the 8 options. Probability that it's not heads means it's tails. That's 50%. If it's 2 or less than 3, well, that's still 2. So that's 1 out of 7, which I believe is 14.6 or 14.7%. 14.3%. I was misremembering the number. Now you roll a 6-sided die. What's the probability they get either 3 or 4? That's 2 out of 6 or 1/3. It's the probability that your number is not greater than 3. That means it's either 2 or 3, which is 1/3 of the dial, 2 of the 6 options. Finally, that you get 3 or odd, because 3 is odd. We just have to worry about the odd category. That's 4 to 6 or 1/2. And that concludes the solutions based on 8 CC.2.